My guest this week is Rosalia Lazara, and we're discussing what is the Content Hive, why did she create it, and who is it aimed at? Welcome to the Mortgage Broker Broadcast with me, Craig Skelton. Join me every week where I'll be developing your knowledge to help you build a successful mortgage broker business. So my guest this week is Rosalia Lazara, and we're discussing Content Hive, what is Content Hive, why did she create it, and who is it aimed at? So welcome to the podcast, Ros. Are you okay?
I'm good, thanks, Craig. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good. The sun is shining, it's still warm, and so cannot complain right now. Cannot complain. So how are you?
Yeah, I completely agree. The sun changes my personality. I'm actually more bearable. I'm a nice person to be around. Living life at the moment, loving it. But thank you so much for having me on your show. I've been following it for a few months now. So yeah, really happy to be here.
Bill, no, thank you for that, and it's great to have you on as a guest, and you agreed to come on the podcast, Ros, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast. And really, like I said, the whole point of the podcast is to talk about Content Hive, why you sort of created it, what it's all about, and who is it aimed at. And I'm sort of looking forward to, first of all, hearing about your journey and your journey to where you've got to right now, and then talk about Content Hive and what the future looks like for you as well. So it's going to be, I'm looking forward to getting this podcast recorded and hearing all about your journey, really. So are you okay? Let's kick off with that. Let's talk about...
Absolutely. Yeah, sounds awesome.
Where you've got to now, and sort of talk about your journey over the past few years or so, shall we say?
So, yeah, I've been in financial services for about 6 or 7 years, and it all started by accident, really. I just stumbled across a local job near me, and it was within like commercial lending and bridging, and I had no idea what that was all about. Nearly 10 years ago now, and I loved it. I loved the atmosphere, the buzz, the people. I realized that ultimately it wasn't just about products and rates, it was about relationships, and that's what I love. And then built my career within financial services, went from working for a packager, a brokerage, to working for a lender. So my last couple of years in the industry have been for a specialist lender. And then I got made redundant. So that's the short version of the story. I got made redundant during the pandemic. I was on furlough for most of 2020. And then the lender massively shrunk in size. And so they made all the BDMs redundant, basically. So From that, I was left wondering what next. And that's how my businesses came to life, basically.
Good. So I think it's one question to understand is, how did you feel at that time when you sort of been made redundant from an employed role that you've done for a number of years? How did you feel?
So what many people won't know is that I've been trying to become an entrepreneur or trying to become a business owner for about 10 years. But it's always been on the side as a hobby, and it's been a training progress. Like, it's been a training program for me. So I've been always, whilst I've had a full-time job, I've always had like something on the side, like a little job or another like side business. I used to call it like a side hustle. And it taught me everything that I needed to get ready for. I didn't realize this until it happened, but when I got made redundant, I guess my mindset was already 70% of the way there, that I knew I could do this for myself. I just never had the opportunity, or never really had the bravery. I think that's the best way I can describe it. You need to have courage and bravery. And when I was in a full-time job and I was safe and I had the nice BMW and I had, the regular paycheck and things like that, you don't really want to quit and start a business from scratch. So when the decision was made for me, so when I was made redundant, I had to see that as a crossroads and think, okay, Ros, this could be everything you've ever wanted, and this is now the opportunity to launch yourself and start your own business, or you can make another decision, which is go for another lender, or, you know, because I was getting offered other jobs, which was really nice considering I had nothing. But I just had to take it. I just took the opportunity and just started 2 companies. And yeah, that was that summer of 2020.
Fantastic. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that about being brave. I think that's something you have to, people just don't take the sort of uneasy option because of uncertainty, and you've had that stability and guaranteed income, like say guaranteed paycheck month in, month out. And it is about being brave. We've talked a lot about this on previous podcasts about just being brave. You've just got to embrace the uncertainty and just think, what is the worst that can happen? I always look at it like that, thinking, what if this goes wrong? What's the worst can happen? I've not lost my arms, my legs, my brain. I'm still going to be the same person I am inside. I've still not lost that. So what's the worst can happen? Let's just give it a go. Let's step out of that comfort zone. Let's be brave. Let's embrace uncertainty and just get on with it. And I think it's just a great story, and great to hear your mindset at that time when you're faced with that, of that security to uncertainty, and think, right, I'm at a crossroads. That is a great way of looking at it and thinking, which way do I go? Do I go for the guaranteed paycheck, or do I just jump all in, both feet, and go for it? And you made the right choice.
Well, now I know I have, because
Yeah.
going well. But when you're, you know, when everyone else around you is working, it's such a weird feeling. So everyone else has got a job around me, right? My mom, dad, my brother, his girlfriend, my boyfriend at home, you know, everyone's working, and I am the only one who isn't working. And for me, that had like a real big knock-on effect on my confidence, on my, like, it was almost like the job was my worthiness. It was like, if no one needs me to work, then I'm not worthy. I know that's absolutely ludicrous, but you've got nothing else to think about all day on furlough. Everything is locked down. There's nowhere to go. There's no distraction. I used to exercise like 2-3 times a day because I was going insane. I was going out of my mind. But it gave me then the opportunity to go from that end of the scale of feeling really vulnerable and feeling really scared about my future, to then feeling really in control, and then planning my business, what that would look like. When I got that, it was like a drug. When I got that adrenaline of like, oh my God, this is my logo. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. I just couldn't get enough of it. And that's what made it feel right. Even when I used to get job offers, like someone would ring me and say, oh, hey, I heard you've been made redundant at, you know, Together. Why don't you come on over? And I felt like that was a way the universe was testing me. It was testing to see how badly I really wanted my business. And I would get thrown money, and people would be like, come on, Roz, it's not going to really work, is it? It's a pandemic. Like, are you really going to start a business during like a crisis and things like that? And yeah, I got tested a few times, but I'm glad I stuck to it.
No, definitely. And it is really good to hear your sort of honest thoughts, comments, and really your heart on your sleeve in terms of what you went through at that time. Because like you said, it's down to your resilience. You sort of believe in what you're doing was right. And they say that those pound notes and those people come and saying, oh, come and do this, come and do that. And that would have been the easy option, I'm guessing. That would have been the easy way out. Yeah. Easy to go, right, I go back to the stability, go back to the guaranteed income and things like that. But that's testament to you. And a lot of people listening to this will sort of take a lot of sort of power from that, and really sort of, because there's a lot of people out there that will go for the easy option, would go for that guaranteed income because that's the certainty that just gives them the easier life. So, but that's not always, the easier life is not always the easier life. That's where I look at it, is thinking this is something you've created for yourself. Yes, it's hard work. Yes, it's persistence. Yes, you've got to have the drive, the determination, but you've got that persistence behind it because you're getting, I think it's just the small wins, like you said, as you take it. I know when I was looking to set my firm up, it was just the small wins, one step at a time of, right, that's my website, that's my logo, that, and you just sort of don't worry about all the distractions of what you could be doing and the safer options. You're looking for those simple steps to thinking, right, I've got this done now. The next step is do this and do that. And it's quite refreshing to hear your story and what you went through, because I sort of went through a similar sort of thing to that, thinking, you question yourself every single day. I think I still question myself now, but that's just one thing. That's just thing you go through, really.
Oh, completely. You're going to have your ups and downs. And don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful to those people who picked up the phone and said, Roz, I can't believe you're on the market. Let's have a chat. I'd love to offer you a job and stuff like that. That was I was really grateful. I'm not dismissing it in any way. But for me, it was more like, how do I believe more in the job offer that they're giving me, or do I believe more in what I'm trying to build here? And that's how I saw it. And even, bizarrely, one of the people offering me a job ended up becoming a client later down, like about 6 months later. And it was and that was like the biggest seal of approval as well. Not that I need we do sometimes, don't we? We do love a little pat on the shoulder and whatever. But, that person did come back and was like, Roz, I was wrong, and they were really humble about it as well. They were like, I was wrong. You are doing really well. It's coming across really well on LinkedIn. Can you help me sort some stuff out? And that meant a lot. And also what ended up happening through the bravery and because of my courage, I actually ended up receiving phone calls from other industry professionals who secretly wanted to leave their job or were also at a crossroads, and they needed like a pep talk. And I don't know what happened, but there was a phase where I was just encouraging people to quit their job, and everyone was just quitting their job. And I was like, oh my God, no. So they would text me and be like, thanks, Roz, that chat really helped. I quit my job. I was like, oh, are you okay? Like, is everything all right? They're like, yeah. Like, I feel good. I'm going to start my own business, or I've gone for another job. Or even those people who were in a toxic environment and they kept the job because they felt like they had to, because it was, again, it was like scaremongering. There was like, oh, it's a pandemic. Where else are you going to go? So some people really had it hard in an employed position. And I remember this one girl, obviously it's anonymous, so I won't say who, but she rang me. She was like, I don't know what to do, and she actually quit without another job because she had enough of a budget to kind of take some time out. But still, that I find that being more brave than staying unhappy. You don't have to stay somewhere if you're unhappy. I once heard like this saying, which was, you're not a tree, you can move. So you're not stuck there. You're not planted there. It's not like you just have to, sit there and deal with whatever weather is thrown at you. You can actually move. So, yeah, it was just really nice to see people make those movements.
So you are responsible for quite a few people quitting their security and going for the uncertainty right now. So you've got they're even broader shoulders than what I thought, Roz, to be fair. They're even broader now. So
I think on their feet.
I think the people do need those, because I don't know how you find it, but it is a lonely role. Running your own business, being a business owner, doing these things it's a lonely role. Nobody's sort of, you don't have those, you talked about them before, about the pats on the back and things like that. You don't get those in this world. That's not, you're not like, everybody does like those things, absolutely, but you don't get those pats on the back. You don't get those brushes of your ego, because you're a business owner, you're self-employed, you're looking to sort of do what you're looking to do and do it for yourself, and it's your own responsibility. And like you say, you don't get those pats on the back and the sort of the well dones. But if that's, and I think that's sort of interesting to hear that they say people are ringing you up saying that this is what I should, do you think I should do that? And what do you think about this? Because, and it's, people want that sort of, not that they would blame you for it going wrong, but they want that sort of feeling that actually somebody has done it and it's been all right. And I speak to it's more mortgage brokers that I speak to that sort of just ring me up just for, I spoke to tens and loads of brokers that have not joined the firm or done something different, but they just felt that they wanted somebody to speak to, just sort of say, look, Craig, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think? And they know the answer themselves already. They know it's something. Once they've sort of having that discussion with you, they know that it's something they already want to do. They've already made that decision to be brave. All they're looking for is that sort of thing for you to sort of say, yeah, do it. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. And it doesn't really, that's all they're looking for, is just somebody to agree with them and then think, right, they know what they're talking about. They're agreeing what I'm to do, and they'll make it work. I think once people have been brave and made that decision to go on their own, they will make it work, because you've got to have that. If you've made that decision to be brave in the first place, you're not going to do it sort of half-hearted and with sort of one looking over your shoulder, or however you want to put it. It's a case of you've gone all in. You've just got to make it work. It's down to you, nobody else. You've just got to make it work. And I think that's what testament to you, that's what you've done, because like you say, hindsight is a great thing. And looking back now with what you've achieved since you started out, after you were furloughed and decided to quit your job, then well, look at what you achieved now, because that's a big beam on your face. You're talking about your journey with sort of big smile and big passion, and that's sort of it's testament to you that you've done that, really.
Yeah, and I had to talk to people as well. And you'll like this one. Guess one of the people that I spoke to a lot and that really gave me that push was Ash.
Right,
Ash Borden. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yep. You know, we were just having a chat, because actually I had met him when I was a BDM. He was a broker, and he was in St. Neots, I think. Yeah, so he was a broker at the time, and we met, and then we connected. And because he changed his look, you know, his hair, his beard, and I really got thrown off. I was like, who are you? And then we actually remembered each other. And, you know, we spoke a couple of times during that summer. And I asked him, he just gave me some free, friendly advice. And I said, do you really think, I explained that the business model and things like that. I was like, do you really think this is going to work? Like, do you really think? And he was like, absolutely, yes, yeah, keep going. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. And we had a lovely chat. And so now I'm really, really like, it's surreal that I can be that person to other people and give them that encouraging pep talk or that motivation. I think it just really goes a long way, even if you don't work together. You don't have to be each other's client to help each other. And I think that's what I really like about also being freelance and working for myself, is that I can meet whoever I like, work with whoever I like, represent whatever I like. As you know, I wear multiple hats and I've got fingers in lots of pies, because I'm not driven by the product anymore. I'm driven by whatever my brokers need, whatever their solution is, whatever I can find for them to take their business to the next level. It doesn't have to come from the Content Hive. It doesn't have to come from Elevici. It can come from another service that I've heard about. And I'm not biased. I'm happy to represent multiple solutions that I think the broker might need.
No, definitely. I think because the idea of the podcast was for you to talk about the Content Hive, and I think it's important to look at those things that you talk about, in terms of the businesses and the fingers in a few pies, as you would say. So, like you said, we are going to talk about the Content Hive, but what other things, when you sort of taking you back to when you sort of had these businesses going on, what are the other businesses and what they do? And we'll come on to Content Hive in a bit more detail, but what other fingers in other pies have you got going on?
So the other business is called Elevici, and that stands for Elevate and Win. So I blended those two words together, because for me, what I felt was important when it comes to business and people is elevating your skills, elevating your motivation, elevating your techniques with sales. So being a salesperson and having a BDM background and a selling background, I combined that in the business and said that, I could basically, the way I work is that I'm a freelance, either BDM or a freelance sales trainer. So I've been going into fintech companies and also large brokerages who perhaps want me to train their telephone BDMs and do workshops. Even lenders have been getting in touch and saying, look, a lot of BDMs are working from home. Maybe their motivation is a bit low. And as a manager, what the manager ends up doing is in the same call, they're asking for, what are your stats for, what are your KPIs this month? And at the same time, they're trying to motivate them to become better people. And it just doesn't sound the same when it's coming from your manager. They want to change the tune and say, look, can we get the same message, but from someone else? So I've been going in and doing some like freelance training, and also freelance sales. So I also represent a company called Eligible.ai. I found them, fell in love with them at the back end of 2020. It actually came to my attention through another broker who said, this is a really cool company, you should check it out. And now I've buddied up with them because I feel like they really support my broker's retention business. So where I might be able to help brokers at the front end to sell and bring more business in, and also to market themselves through content, what ended up happening was I noticed that in their process, the back door was still open. So whilst we were bringing new leads in, they were leaving the back door open. And what I mean by that is that once the customer had done their mortgage, that was it. They'd be filed away for 2 years until the remortgage was due. And so that's why I partnered with Eligible, because they could increase the customer contact and touch points and keep the brand at the forefront of their mind, of the brokers. So yeah, that's the other thing that I do. What else? Yeah, that's everything, I think, now. For now, anyway.
Well, for now, I think you sound like, in terms of sort of where you've gone with this business model from the start and where you've gone on this journey so far, Ros, is that like you've started on this journey and looking at other things that are out there. I sort of, that's happened the same for me. We started out as a mortgage broker. We then do like pension investment stuff now. There's other things that I'm going on, like the podcast, and I've got 2 podcasts going on. So you always find that there's always sort of things to get involved with and making your sort of world a little bit more exciting day to day than what you set out, really. But I think that the core thing that we're going to talk about with the Content Hive is really, because I didn't realize it until I sort of, because we met about on the back of the Eligible, didn't we? So that's how you reached out on the retain bit. I bought into what you were talking about from the Eligible sort of thing, and then it's just then as I've started to look at you and look at what you're doing more in terms of your LinkedIn stuff and your LinkedIn profile, which is great in terms of, it's very informative in terms of what you do. So I think that's something that I've been working on, is looking at my LinkedIn profile. Is it clear what I do and how I help people and what I work? And yours clearly does. So that's you're helping brokers do that, and you're doing that as well yourself. So you're sort of leading from the front in terms of, you're not just talking about things you could be doing and should be doing. You're actually doing those from your own point of view as well. So no, it sounds like you've got plenty going on and plenty to worry about right now.
Yeah, busy. It's really good. Like when you work for yourself, you have a different sort of drive. And I've always been busy in a job. Like I've always worked like all the hours under the sun and whatever. But there just comes there's a different magic to when you are doing it for yourself. And if you are doing stuff at 10 o'clock at night, or you're waking up on a Sunday before you go to the gym and you're like, no, I just need to, sort this task out. It's different. It's completely different, because I have to work in the business and on the business as well. So when I'm in it, I'm in with brokers, I'm consulting them, I'm sorting their content out, I'm sorting their profiles out. But when I'm not on the calls with them, I have to do all of that stuff for myself too. And I like doing it for myself rather than outsourcing it, because I think it should come, when you're representing your own brand, it should come from you. So nobody else right now could be sitting here doing this podcast other than Craig. Like there's nobody else that's fit for the job. Obviously I'm meeting you and you represent the brand. Of course, someone else can edit it. Someone else can, help you map it out. But, there's a lot of work involved. Yeah. So yeah. And I love it. At least you enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. So we understand a little bit about Elevici with Eligible. Let's talk about the Content Hive. So was the Content Hive the main driver when you were looking to set up? Was that the first thing you were looking to do, or was this sort of something that's evolved over the last sort of 12 months or so? How did the Content Hive come about, really?
Really good question, because the Content Hive was something that would have never come to me because of the pandemic. Like there is no other question. Because of the pandemic, I believe that the brokers took a different view all of a sudden on what social media was all about. If I had started a social media business in 2018 or 2019, I reckon the response would have been less optimistic, and people would have just been like, oh, I don't need social media. Like, I'm cool. I get all my leads from referrals and my clients, and I don't need to be on social media. But what the lockdown and the pandemic helped people realize is that being connected everywhere you go, not having to physically rely on, physically being there, has got a lot more power in your business. Being readily visible and accessible to your clients just at the touch of a button on Facebook or WhatsApp or LinkedIn is a lot more effective. And it actually came to me through brokers that when I was starting to chat to them about being made redundant, really I was leading with the sales part of the business. So this is where all the market research came in, and when you start to set up your business, I recommend this book here, where it's called The Value Proposition Design. And
right.
basically it's quite American, right? So you gotta adapt it to the UK version. And a lot of it is mainly for like startups, but there's a canvas in there where you check everything about the business, like what your challenges are going to be, who your market is, what does the market want. So I started doing that research, and when I was telling brokers about my sales business, it became more apparent that whilst they were comfortable with sales, it was the social selling side, it was the social media selling aspects, it was the lead gen that on social media that they were struggling with, it was marketing themselves. A lot of them are very good. I'd say 90% of brokers are quite comfortable in front of a client and sell a product. They know how to sell themselves. But what was the challenge was, how do we get in front of a client in the first place? How do we get the client to spot us on social media? So that's when I then realized, right, I know how to do that as well, because I've been doing it for myself. I've been doing it wherever I've worked. I've been doing it for the past 10 years, trying to build all my other types of businesses. So I implemented that as well. And I wanted it to be, I chose the Content Hive because content can mean lots of different things. It can be a podcast, it can be an article, it could be video. So I wanted the Hive to be like the one place, the one-stop shop where you can get pretty much all of the content that you need to market yourself. And we chose the B and the Hive because it was all about, buzzing energy, energetic, really just, like that power of the energy. So that's how it all came about, basically. Very grateful.
And I think it's quite, when you've talked there about the reason what Content Hive is, one of the things you talk about, one of the things on your About You on your LinkedIn profile, and I hear this all the time as well, is that I know I should be more active on social media. I don't have time. I don't know what to do. And I'm looking down because I'm reading this, where to begin. That's a lot of brokers. That is a lot of financial advisors, not just mortgage brokers, but financial advisors as well. The whole firms are like that. Principals and owners of firms are in that sort of that place. So obviously you've sort of seen that as a big gap with regards to the timing was right. Like you said, it is all about timing, and the timing was right with regards to the pandemic. People, I think brokers had more time because they weren't going out, spending an hour in the car, going to see an appointment, coming back away again and they were sort of more efficient with the time because they couldn't do face-to-face. Appointments were done over the phone or virtually. So I think it gave them a little bit more time to think, actually, I do need to get that social media cracked. I do need to look at that now, because clearly that's the way that it's going. And the podcast that I recorded a couple of weeks ago, where for a guy that I know that's been in sort of financial services, mortgage services for a pretty long time, he sort of feels as excited as I do about changing the way and changing the face of mortgage advising, mortgage broking and financial advisors. And what you've done and what you're doing is really help with that, because there is loads of people out there, mortgage brokers, that don't know where to start, that don't have the time, but know they need to do it. So they need help with that.
Yeah, exactly that. That's the conversations. I was just listening to brokers, because when you're starting a business, you need to listen to your customers. You need to understand what they want, what keeps them up at night, what would be the most valuable a valuable service that you could provide to them right now. And that's what everyone kept saying. They just said, look, during these times, we've just realized how disconnected we are from our clients. I guess I didn't realize it when I was out and about because I felt busy. But now that I'm at home, I've just realized how I'm not connected. And the last time I posted on Facebook was actually 2015. So actually my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, everything needs upgrading and just improving. And I think most advisors will see my profile and they'll contact me and they'll say, can you do it all? Can I just hand it over to you? And what they don't realize is that they end up doing a lot more work than expected. And that's just something I want to be really honest and upfront about, because these podcasts, Craig, I'm sure take you hours, right? To plan, to then record and then edit. And I couldn't do this for you. So if you had approached me and said, oh, can you do it all for me? I'd be like, well, no, because I think it'd be better coming from you doing the podcast, you doing the video. I physically cannot do that for you. But where I can help you is to strategize and do the plan and do the campaign and set it all up. And then what I end up finding, almost 100%, technically it's 100% of people will end up saying, I thought I wanted you to do everything, but now that you've given me all the tools, all the ideas and the confidence and actually a plan, I've got a plan I know what to do, A to Z, I know everything that I need to do, then they're more inclined to actually do this stuff. It's not as hard as they thought it would be. So I help them kind of in a bite-sized way take some tasks that they could do themselves. So let's say, for example, for one advisor, maybe their strategy is to do one video a week, one article a month, and a couple of posts a week. Then they will focus on the video and I can do everything else for them. So I can do them the article. And now suddenly we've split the roles, we've split the job, and it's just more manageable for the advisor. I'm trying to find a more sustainable way that they can do the posts in the most effective way, but without taking too much time.
Okay. No, that I get that. So if I'm a mortgage broker, mortgage advisor, thinking this is something that I wanting to do, what is the process that they would go through with the likes of yourself? How does that work?
So we'd have to always have a Zoom chat, basically, or a telephone call to check, can I achieve what you are looking for? So if you come to me and say, I want to get 2 leads a day from social media, and I want to grow my following from 1,000 to 10,000 in 2 months, that's unrealistic. So I would probably turn that kind of business away, or even help you just to change and reframe your mindset about what social media is. So the call first is to establish, can I actually achieve, and is what you want achievable? Then we also have to discuss compatibility. Am I the right person for you? Are you the right person for me? Are you aligned with kind of what I believe social media should be? Because I'm all about education. So all posts should be educational, thought leadership, information for the client, not promotional, salesy, or advertising. So if that is aligned, then the last step really is there availability, depending on how long your project is and what you want me to deliver, have I got capacity to fit that in? Once we tick the boxes for that, then the rest is really bespoke. It's, depends on what the advisor's looking for. Maybe they're looking for support with podcasts, support with video, or support with written content. Maybe they're happy and comfortable doing video, but actually what they need from me is articles. But ultimately, it all begins with a plan. Before I write any content for anybody, I'm not the type of social media manager where you say, "Hi, can you do 12 posts a month for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, 200 quid, 300 quid, whatever. I'll do 12 posts." I avoid that type of work because it doesn't mean anything. Why would you pay me on a monthly basis to post 95% mortgages are back? You know, that doesn't mean anything really. Everyone's doing that, and you can do that for free. You just grab a picture off of Google, post it, and say, "Call me today. 95% mortgages are back." Whereas before we write any content, the biggest thing I want anyone to remember is that you have to put a plan in place. You have to put a strategy.
Do you find that the brokers don't have patience? So what I mean by that is when they sit down with you for the first time, and those people that you just talked about there who want instant wins, there's a lot of people that just want the instant wins and will try something for a week, 2 weeks, a month, and they don't have the patience and don't have that strategy long term. Do you meet up with those people, and they're the people that you sort of say, look, this is not going to work, this is a relationship that's not going to be for you and I?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say that every single one of the brokers who has worked with me, I am so proud of, because they have really pushed themselves out of their comfort zone. They signed up to something. Well, they approached me and ended up signing up to something that they didn't originally think that was available. And it feels like they ended up getting something better out of it. But then they do the work. They show up. I do give homework, by the way. So they do show up with the homework done. And even if they haven't done the homework, they're like, "Roz, I didn't do it. Oh my God, can you help me?" And it's fine, because I see them growing week on week. Usually the strategy takes about 6 weeks to build, because we meet weekly. And the transformation from week 1 to week 6 completely gets us on the same page, and we can continue to work together. No one's made it past that Zoom call. So you know what you were saying about if they've got like the wrong perception of social media, or they won't make it past that Zoom call. So once we've had that Zoom call, if they can't get past the barrier of how social media works, and you know that you can't measure how many leads you're going to get. Like, I can't say do this video and you're going to get 5 leads off the back of it. You just can't. So they don't end up working with me, and that's okay, because maybe it's unrealistic what they're trying to achieve. So there's no point spending time on it.
Yeah, I think, because I would just make a note then, because I think one thing you talk about is, which I'm a very advocate of as well, is regards to information. A lot of brokers that I speak to and talk to just want to hit the customer, sales pitch. So social media is a sales. You've got to hit them with this. Like you said, the 95%, this is what we're going to do. And it's not about that. Consumers don't want that sort of content thrown at them. It's about information. That's the whole reason why, like the other podcast that I do, that was just about information. That is still information now. We don't do any sales pitch on that. It talks about information, I think. And like I say, from a broker's point of view, quite a few of them that I see don't have that mindset. It's a case of, I want that quick win. I need to be selling. If I'm paying for an ad or I'm doing something, it has to be a sales pitch. Well, it doesn't. That's not the way that the world works from a social media point of view. It's about information. People don't want to be sold at. They don't. If they turned it around and looked at, they were looking to buy something. They were looking at buying a car. They wouldn't want to be sold at. They'd want to know what the car does. They don't want a salesman to walk straight in and pitch them saying, right, this. They want to know what that car is going to do for them. They want the information and they can make that decision themselves.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, you feel it yourself when you walk into a shop, or again, a car dealership maybe, and you say, "I'm looking for a car," and all they ever tell you is, "We've got the best deals. I'm like, okay, but show me. Like, don't tell me, just show me what it is. And I'm here to buy, I'm here to spend. I'm obviously in the property side of things, so a potential home buyer, they've got the deposit, right? So they are willing to spend. They've been saving. They've psyched themselves up. They've been preparing themselves for 10 years. Now they're willing to spend that money. They're ready to spend it. They don't need to hear that you've got XYZ qualification, blah, blah, blah. They just want to, I get more engagement and more leads, so to speak, from like my dancing videos than I do my articles. But it's a blend of the two that makes it work. Because if it weren't for the dancing video, the articles would just look boring. Now, because I am dancing and having a good time and showing my personality, that article becomes more visible because more people are engaging with me. Therefore, they'll see all my other content. So this is why I say I don't just with me anyway, other social media managers would do something different, but I don't take on the content for the broker. I'm happy to do all the written work, the posts, the images, but you have to show me your personality. That's the bit that you have to do. Otherwise, everything I write, because what ends up happening, they'll say, Roz, I've bought 6, and this hasn't happened, by the way, but because I avoid it, I won't do 6 articles for someone for 6 months. And then they'll turn around and say, your articles don't work. But they don't work because if clients don't see your face, all you're giving them is text, you know?
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think one of the funny things I was sort of thinking then when you were talking before about is accountability, because brokers are easy to make excuse of like, oh, I haven't done that because I haven't had time this week, or I haven't done that for this reason or that. Whereas if they've got your session booked in, they're accountable for doing. So it's making me smile there, because I'm thinking in my mind that, like, I work with Ash, as you know, in terms of what he does, and you've known Ash for quite a long time. And like I had this conversation with him like this week, I think it was, in our session this week, is that I'm accountable. I'm not like accountability. So I'm not accountable to anybody, generally speaking, because it's my own firm and I'm self-employed and things like that. I am accountable in a lot of the ways, but the only one person that I have a deadline with really is either, well, 2 people, is either myself or Ash. And that's the thing. It's sort of, okay, well, because I know, like, I look at the things we've discussed. It's like, I've got my meeting with Ash on Monday. Right, have I done the stuff I need to do? Is it all done? Is it all done? Which is great, because that's what you need. That if you need that push to do it, then great. Because even if you did nothing else, even if you just got that accountability to think, oh my God, my meeting was with Roz in half an hour. Have I done this? Have I done my homework? Have I done that? It just forces them to look at something that they wouldn't normally choose to do, because picking up a mortgage application or progressing a case or doing something else is something they know what to do, and they can pick that up easy. So they will choose to do the path of least resistance. They choose to do that because it's the easiest thing to do. Whereas what you're asking them to do and what you're getting them to do is not easy, but there's a reason why they've asked you to do it. So it's good that the people, I'm really liking the idea that you sort of say they don't get past the Zoom session, because that's right. It shouldn't be, they shouldn't get past that Zoom session. If they're not aligned with you and what you're thinking and your passion, your dedication, and what you're trying to achieve for them, if they're not aligned with that, it's just pointless working together, because you're going to fall out with them, they're going to fall out with you. It's not going to be a great relationship. Whereas so it's just with anything in life, isn't it? You just want to be aligned with the people that you work with, the people that you socialize with, need to be aligned with you and your values and who you are, really.
Completely. I mean, we're not an agency. I've got people that work for me, and that can deliver on work, like, you know, editing and articles and things like that. But everything is with, you know, the whole strategies with me, is face to face with me. So for me, my clientele is the smaller the better. So the fewer brokers I can work with, the better, because I can't make everyone superstars. There's 48,000 brokers in the UK. I can't promise you all to help you stand out. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I have to work with those who are genuinely really committed to taking their brand and really bring it to life. And that's what we believe. That's our slogan or motto at the Content Hive, which is, we believe everyone has an amazing story to tell. We just bring it to life for you. So we give you that confidence. We give you that platform. We give you those tools and resources you need. But it's hilarious, because I've got one broker who is currently my star pupil of the month. He's doing such a good job. Can you tell I have a teacher background, by the way?
Do you know what, Roz? That was exactly my thought. I'm sat here that smiling, thinking, oh my God, like wow, like it's like you've got homework, you're my star pupil and things. I'm like, wow, you have taken So that answers that question of where that's come from, because obviously the teaching background has given that sort of, you are living and breathing that still now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love teaching. I guess you can call it coaching, teaching, mentoring, whatever. But so he basically, his strategy. So we were doing a 6-week program. We were now at 5 weeks, and up until this point, he was like, Roz, I'm not downloading TikTok. I'm just not doing it. There was a lot of resistance about video. And I was like, okay, look, it's like a product, like when you give advice to your client, you'll say, I believe this is the best product for you. The client is also inclined to say, thank you, but no thanks, or okay, thanks, I'll take your recommendation. That's exactly what this is. This is my advice letter. This is what I think you should do, but it's up to you if you want to take it. Anyway, he comes along week 5 and he sends me a video. And I said, oh, what happened? I said, why now? Is it because week 6 is your final week and he was like, well, I just had to get you off my back. And that's what made him do a video. And now he's my I haven't asked his permission to say his name, so I won't, but he's my best case study because he's doing videos now. He's doing funny videos, a bit more serious videos. He's got articles coming from me. And he's had, since we've worked together, so over the course of 8 weeks so far, he's had 4 official applications put into the, 4 new applicants.
Fantastic.
And new deals. But we didn't know that was going to happen. We didn't know when it was going to happen. It just has. And he was so scared before. The second person, so she's just about to come to the end. And she's like, right, you know the video that you're going to do. Yeah. You know the title. Yeah. You got the script, yeah. You've got the images, yeah. Where is it? Why haven't you done it? Why haven't you put it in place? And like for her, bless her, she's got that. Again, there's still a confidence barrier that we need to overcome. But she's all the way in Manchester, and I'm in North London. And I was like, I'm physically going to have to come there and shove the camera in your face because that is the only way I can get you recorded. If I'm there, you can't hide from the camera. So I might have to. I'll see what to do with this lockdown and stuff. But, that's the bit I can't do. I can give you everything else. But ultimately, you have to then put that, press that record button. And we're all scared. Just check out my bloopers. I make mistakes all the time. But, just got to try it.
You have. And I think, like you've explained things in terms of what you do. So you sit down with a broker the first time, look into where they want to go, where they're going to take this. But wrapped around all this, it's about the broker's personality, which is key, really, because customers buy the personality. They don't buy the best 90% deal. They don't buy stats. They don't buy things like that. They buy the person. That's who they buy. So if you can explain that within your content, and what you're looking to do in your videos and things like that, then absolutely that's the good that you're getting across from a content point of view. Is it's all about the personality,
Completely. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to differentiate yourself from all the other 48,000 advisors, because there's a lot of choice for customers and most advisors have access to the similar products. So what makes you different? It's you. You're the only differentiator. Everything out, a customer can get 95% loan to value anywhere with any broker. So you're the key differentiator between you and someone else.
Definitely. So just as we wrap it up, really, Ros, in terms of I'm here broker thinking that I need to step out of my comfort zone, get that uncertainty, embrace social media and looking to change. How do people get in touch with you? Are you still looking to work with new brokers? What's going on at the moment? Is that?
Well, if all the chat about homework and going back to school hasn't put you off, then you've passed to step 1. You passed. If you still are interested, then yes, of course, get in touch. There are a lot that I have got a lot on at the moment, but I don't know, you might be listening to this in 2 months' time, in 3 months' time, doesn't matter. Always get in touch, because if it's something I can't immediately do right now, there might be another way to help you. So just go on to our LinkedIn. I'm not sure how you're going to post this, Craig, but LinkedIn is where
I'll tag you in. You get tagged in on that, so that's fine.
Yeah, LinkedIn is fine. Start there, and then we can just put your own personal plan in place.
Fantastic. I think if you've directed people to your LinkedIn, like I said before, Ros, you can clearly see from your LinkedIn profile what you do, what you offer. I don't think there were people out there that maybe I don't think they'd be put off by the homework and the star pupil and things like that, because people will embrace that and actually know that they're accountable for what there's the accountability there for making sure they do what they've got to do, because it's easy to drift. It's easy to think, oh, I'm going to do this. But then if there's no accountability, no homework, no star pupil, people just drift and not do it anyway. So fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for agreeing to be part of the podcast. Thank you for really giving us a great insight into you, your journey, and really what you're about now, because this podcast has been a good education for me, because I've got more about you, your personality, what you're looking to do, how you help brokers. I think you've been really honest about that, Ros, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks, Craig. I've really enjoyed speaking with you over the past few weeks, actually. So I know there's more coming, and we're going to be doing lots more exciting stuff together. So thank you. Definitely.
So like I say, you're absolutely right. People do listen to these in the future. So you will have, Ros will be tagged in on the social media and the post. So if you are listening to this, like I say, please get in touch with Ros through LinkedIn. Easy enough to find her. And thank you everyone for listening. Are you an experienced mortgage advisor who is looking to go alone and set up your own firm? Is owning your own brand and business important to you? Do you keep putting off the decision because you just don't know where to start? Let me explain the My Brand, My Way program. First of all, you still receive the rates you would as if you went direct to a network, and these also improve as you grow. You pay a monthly fee which includes your compliance, indemnity, CRM and all your licenses. You would still own your own brand, your own clients and your own business, and you're still creating your own legacy. The difference is you get my help, support and coaching in not only setting up your business and brand, I will also help you grow. If that is something of interest to you, please get in touch and so we can arrange an informal discussion.